How to stop overthinking and calm your mind. 5 Stoic principles that will change your life. It is 2:17 in the morning. Your body is tired, but your mind refuses to sleep. You are replaying a conversation that happened 3 days ago. Why did I say that? Did they misunderstand me? Maybe I should have responded differently. Then your mind jumps forward. What if tomorrow goes badly? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I fail? What if something happens that I haven't prepared for? One thought creates another, then another. And suddenly you are trying to solve problems that haven't happened, rewriting conversations that are already over, and preparing for situations that may never exist. This is overthinking. And one of the strangest things about it is that while you're doing it, it often feels productive. It feels as though one more hour of thinking might finally produce certainty. But usually it doesn't. You don't become clearer. You become more exhausted, because overthinking is often not problem-solving at all. It is the mind desperately searching for a guarantee that life cannot give you. And nearly 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers understood this struggle remarkably well. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire during wars, political conspiracies, disease, and personal tragedy. Epictetus experienced slavery before becoming one of history's most influential philosophers. Seneca lived surrounded by the instability and danger of Roman political life. They couldn't control everything happening around them. So they became intensely interested in a different question: what can a person control? And hidden inside that question is one of the most powerful solutions to overthinking, because you don't necessarily need fewer thoughts. You need to stop treating every thought as something that deserves your attention. Today, we're going to explore 5 principles that can help you do exactly that. And the first may be the most important. 1. Stop trying to control what was never yours to control. Imagine you have an important interview tomorrow. You prepare carefully. You research the company. You practice your answers. You choose what you're going to wear. You arrive on time. Those things are within your influence. But then your mind begins demanding something else. Will they like me? What if another candidate is better? What if the interviewer is in a bad mood? What if I don't get the job? What will people think if I fail? And suddenly you've moved from preparation into prediction. This is where overthinking begins to consume enormous amounts of mental energy. Epictetus opened his Enchiridion with one of the central ideas of Stoicism: some things are up to us. Others are not. Simple, but incredibly difficult to live by. Your choices belong to you. Your effort belongs to you. Your response belongs to you. Your preparation belongs to you. But other people's opinions? Not completely yours. The past, already gone. Tomorrow's outcome, not fully yours. Someone else's behavior, theirs. The Stoics understood that much human suffering comes from trying to control the second category with tools that only work on the first. And overthinking is one of those tools. You replay the conversation because somewhere inside you is the belief that thinking about yesterday for another hour might somehow change yesterday. It won't. You analyze someone's behavior because you desperately want to know what they're thinking, but you cannot enter their mind. You imagine 20 versions of tomorrow because uncertainty makes you uncomfortable. Yet after imagining all 20, tomorrow remains uncertain. So here's an exercise. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left, right. Within my control on Thane. The right. Outside my control. Then take whatever is troubling you and separate it. Suppose you're waiting for someone to reply to an important message. Within your control. Sending a clear message. Being honest. Following up appropriately. Continuing with your day. Outside your control. When they reply. What they think. How they interpret every word. Whether they give you the answer you want. Once you've done what belongs to you, continuing to mentally wrestle with what belongs to someone else is not preparation. It is surrendering your peace to something you cannot command. This doesn't mean becoming passive. Stoicism isn't about sitting quietly while your life falls apart. It means taking full responsibility for your actions without demanding complete control over the outcome. That distinction can change everything. Ask yourself, is there an action I can take right now? If yes, take it. If no, more thinking may not be the solution. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is allow uncertainty to remain uncertain, because peace doesn't always arrive when you finally know what will happen. Sometimes peace arrives when you realize, I don't need to know yet. 2. Return to where your body already is. Your mind possesses an extraordinary ability. It can travel through time. Your body can be sitting safely in your bedroom while your mind is reliving an embarrassing moment from 5 years ago. Your body can be eating dinner while your mind is already fighting an argument scheduled for tomorrow. Your body can be walking through a beautiful park while your mind is somewhere completely different. This is one reason overthinking can be so exhausting. Your body lives in the present, but your attention keeps abandoning it. Imagine sitting beside the sea. You can hear waves hitting the shore. The evening sky is changing color. The air is cool. Everything around you is peaceful, but you're not really there. You're replaying something your manager said that morning. Maybe they sounded disappointed. Maybe you're in trouble. Maybe you're going to lose your job. Maybe you won't be able to pay your bills. Maybe. Stop. Notice what just happened. A single ambiguous comment became an entire imaginary future. Your mind constructed it so quickly that your body may begin reacting as though that future were already happening. Your shoulders tighten. Your breathing changes. Your heart beats faster. But nothing has actually happened. This is why one of the simplest ways to interrupt overthinking is to reconnect attention with the present moment. Not because the present is always comfortable, but because the present gives you something imagination often doesn't: reality. Look around. What can you actually see? What can you hear? What can you physically feel? Notice your breathing without trying to make it perfect. Feel your feet against the floor. Notice the temperature of the room. You are teaching your attention to return from the imaginary courtroom inside your head to the world that actually exists around you. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself to deal with the present, not the thousand difficulties that might arrive, the task immediately in front of him. And this gives us a powerful question for moments of mental chaos. What problem exists right now, in this exact moment? Not tomorrow, not next month, not inside someone else's mind. Right now. Sometimes there really is a problem, then deal with it. But sometimes you'll discover something surprising. The problem creating enormous anxiety doesn't currently exist anywhere except in your prediction of the future. That doesn't mean your concern is foolish. It means you have discovered the difference between a problem and a possibility. And possibilities don't always require immediate solutions. If you want to practice this today, try something incredibly simple. For 60 seconds, do only one thing. If you're drinking coffee, drink the coffee. Don't drink coffee while scrolling, worrying, answering messages, and rehearsing tomorrow. Notice the warmth, the taste, the cup in your hand. If you're walking, walk. Feel each step. Notice what is around you. This may sound almost too simple to matter, but for a mind trained to exist everywhere except the present, deliberately returning to the present is a form of mental discipline. And once you begin noticing where your attention goes, you'll discover something else. Some of your overthinking isn't being generated entirely from within. You're feeding it every single day. And that brings us to the third principle. 3. Protect your mind from too much input. There is something the ancient Stoics never had to deal with. They didn't wake up and immediately see hundreds of opinions before getting out of bed. They didn't carry a device capable of delivering bad news, arguments, advertisements, messages, comparisons, and entertainment every second of the day. But we do, and that matters because sometimes the mind you are desperately trying to calm is a mind you have never allowed to become quiet. Think about an ordinary morning, your eyes open. Before your feet touch the floor, you reach for your phone, a message, an email, a news headline, Another notification. Someone on social media appears to be earning more money than you. Someone has a better body. Someone is traveling somewhere beautiful. Someone your age has apparently achieved everything you're still trying to accomplish. Then, you see something frightening happening somewhere in the world. Another opinion, another argument, another problem. 10 minutes ago, you were simply lying peacefully in bed. Now your mind is carrying 20 different emotional demands. And then we wonder, why can't I stop thinking? Sometimes overthinking isn't simply a thinking problem, it is an input problem. Your brain cannot continuously consume information without that information influencing what occupies your attention. Imagine pouring muddy water into a glass all day and then becoming frustrated because the water isn't clear. At some point, you have to stop pouring. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus repeatedly warned about allowing external things to take command of our inner state. Today, one way external things gain that influence is through our attention. Every notification makes a small request. Think about me. Every headline says, react to me. Every social media post says, compare yourself with me. And if you answer every request, eventually there's almost no mental space left for your own priorities. This doesn't mean deleting every app, ignoring world events, or becoming disconnected from society. It means becoming intentional about what enters your mind. Try this experiment. For the first 30 minutes after waking tomorrow, don't consume anything. No social media. No news. No endless notifications. Instead, allow your own mind to arrive before inviting the entire world inside. Drink water, stretch, walk, write, think, plan your day. Or simply sit quietly. Notice what happens. You may initially feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is revealing. We have become so accustomed to stimulation that silence can almost feel like something is missing. But silence isn't empty. Sometimes silence is where your mind finally has room to organize itself. And this principle works throughout the day. If an account repeatedly makes you compare yourself, reduce your exposure to it. If checking the news 10 times a day leaves you mentally agitated, decide when you will check it. If your phone constantly interrupts your concentration, place it somewhere you cannot automatically reach it. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Treat it accordingly. Because what repeatedly receives your attention eventually begins shaping your inner world. If you're finding this useful, subscribe to Human Code. This channel is about understanding the psychology behind our thoughts, habits, and behavior, and learning how to take back control of the parts of life that actually belong to us. Now, reducing mental noise helps. But what happens when the thoughts aren't coming from your phone? What happens when you turn everything off and your own mind keeps going? That's where the fourth principle becomes surprisingly powerful. 4. Give your worries an appointment. Imagine you're working. Suddenly a thought appears. What if I made the wrong decision? You begin analyzing it. 5 minutes. Disappear. You return to work. Then, what if she hasn't replied because she's upset with me? Another 10 minutes. Then, I really need to figure out what I'm doing with my life. Another mental journey begins. By evening, you've spent hours switching between the real world and imaginary problems. One reason this happens is that your brain has learned that every worry deserves immediate attention. A thought arrives, you respond. Another arrives, you respond again. Eventually, your worries begin behaving like someone who knows you will answer every time they call. So try something different. Give worry a boundary. Choose 10 or 15 minutes later in the day. When an anxious thought appears, write it down. Then tell yourself, I'll think about this during my worry time. This sounds almost ridiculous at first, but it creates an important separation between having a thought and obeying a thought. Suppose at 11 o'clock in the morning you suddenly think, what if I lose my job? Instead of spending the next hour constructing imaginary disasters, write, concern about job security. Then return to what you were doing. At 6 o'clock, when your scheduled thinking period arrives, look at it again. Now ask, is there evidence for this? Is there anything useful I can do? Do I need to speak to my manager? Improve something? Update my CV? Or was this simply fear creating a scenario? Something interesting may happen. Some worries that felt urgent at 11 o'clock will look completely different by 6 o'clock. You may not even care about some of them anymore. This teaches you something extremely important. Urgency is sometimes a feeling, not a fact. Your thoughts do not automatically become commands simply because they appear loudly. This idea fits beautifully with Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius wrote privately to himself about the importance of recognizing that our minds add judgments to events. Something happens. Then we create a story about what it means. A friend doesn't respond. That's the event. Then the mind says, "They're angry with me. I've done something wrong. They're avoiding me. Our friendship is ending." That's the interpretation. But the interpretation arrives so quickly that we confused it with reality. Perhaps they're working. Perhaps their phone is dead. Perhaps they're dealing with something difficult. Perhaps they simply haven't seen the message. The disciplined mind learns to separate what happened from what story am I telling myself about what happened. That question alone can interrupt enormous amounts of unnecessary suffering. Try it next time your thoughts begin spiraling. Ask, what do I actually know? Then, what am I assuming? Those two answers are often very different. But eventually, thinking must end somewhere. Because there are problems that genuinely require a response. And when they do, the solution is often not another hour of analysis. It is movement. 5. Replace rumination with action. There is a moment when thinking stops helping. Imagine someone who wants to start a business. They spend 6 months researching. What should I call it? What if nobody buys? What if I choose the wrong logo? Should I start on Instagram? What about TikTok? Should I wait until I have more money? Maybe I need another course. Maybe next month. Eventually, research becomes camouflage. The person feels productive because they're thinking about action. But thinking about action and taking action are completely different experiences. Overthinking loves preparation because preparation can continue forever. Action creates risk. Once you act, reality can answer back. Your idea might fail. Someone might reject you. You might discover that you're not as prepared as you thought. So the mind sometimes protects itself by remaining inside analysis. Because while you're thinking, nothing can fail, but nothing can succeed either. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes intensely practical. Stoicism was never intended to be endless intellectual contemplation. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself to stop debating what a good person should be and simply become one. The principle is simple. When the next useful action is available, take it. Not the entire journey, the next action. If you've been overthinking exercise, put your shoes on. If you've been overthinking an email, write the first sentence. If you've been overthinking studying, open the book and read one page. If you've been overthinking your finances, look at your bank statement. If you've been overthinking a difficult conversation, decide what you actually need to communicate. Movement produces information that thinking cannot. You can spend 3 weeks wondering whether you're capable of running, or you can walk outside and discover what your body can currently do. You can spend months wondering whether people will like your idea, or you can create a small version and let reality answer. Action breaks the cycle because it transforms uncertainty into feedback. And feedback gives the mind something real to work with. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. Some decisions deserve serious thought. But there is a difference between deliberation and rumination. Deliberation moves toward a decision. Rumination moves in circles. Ask yourself, am I learning anything new by continuing to think about this? If the answer is no, you may have reached the point where thinking has finished its job. Now action must begin. The real reason you keep overthinking, but there is something underneath all 5 principles that we need to understand. Why does the mind do this in the first place? Why replay the conversation 50 times? Why imagine every possible future? Why analyze a decision long after you've already gathered enough information? often because your mind is trying to protect you. If I predict every possible outcome, maybe nothing can surprise me. If I replay everything I said, maybe I can prevent rejection next time. If I analyze every decision, maybe I can avoid regret. Overthinking frequently disguises itself as protection, but eventually protection becomes imprisonment, because there is no amount of thinking that can remove all uncertainty from being alive. You can make a careful decision and still be wrong. You can treat someone beautifully and still be rejected. You can prepare thoroughly and still fail. You can do everything responsibly and still encounter circumstances you never expected. That is not evidence that you didn't think enough. That is life. The goal then is not to achieve perfect certainty. It is to become someone who trusts themselves to respond even when certainty is unavailable. That is a very different kind of confidence. Instead of saying, "I need to know, everything will be okay," you begin saying, "Whatever happens, I will deal with what is actually mine to deal with." That is where the Stoic circle of control returns. Do what belongs to you. Release what doesn't. You are not every thought you think, and perhaps this is the most important idea in the entire video. A thought appearing in your mind does not automatically make that thought true. Your mind can say, "You're going to fail." That doesn't make failure inevitable. Your mind can say, "They don't like you." That doesn't mean you know what they're thinking. Your mind can say, "You've ruined everything." That doesn't mean everything is ruined. Your mind produces thoughts. Some are useful, some are warnings. Some are memories, some are possibilities, some are simply noise. The mistake is assuming you must follow every thought wherever it wants to take you. You don't. Imagine standing beside a busy road. Cars pass continuously. You notice them, but you don't chase every car. Thoughts can be treated similarly. Notice, evaluate, then decide whether the thought deserves your attention. Sometimes the appropriate response is action, sometimes reflection, and sometimes that's only a thought. I don't need to follow it. That is not suppression. You aren't desperately trying to force the thought away. You're changing your relationship with it. And that is where mental calm begins. Not when your mind becomes completely silent, but when every thought no longer controls your direction. Try this tonight before you sleep tonight. Take a piece of paper. Write down the thing you've been overthinking most. Then answer 4 questions. What are the facts? What am I assuming? What part of this is within my control? What is the smallest useful action I can take? Then make a decision. If there is something you can do, do it when the appropriate moment comes. If there is nothing you can do, practice leaving the problem where it belongs. Tomorrow may bring new information. Deal with tomorrow when it becomes today. Because you do not need to solve your entire life tonight. You don't need to know how every relationship will end. You don't need to predict every mistake. You don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need complete certainty before taking the next step. You need enough clarity for the next action, then another, then another. This is what the Stoics understood. Peace does not require controlling the world. It requires learning where your responsibility ends. So the next time your mind begins racing, remember these 5 principles. Separate what you control from what you don't. Return your attention to the present. Protect what you allow into your mind. Give worry boundaries instead of unlimited access. And when thinking has done its job, act. Your mind may still produce noise. Let it. You don't have to argue with every thought. You don't have to solve every possibility. You don't have to follow every fear. Sometimes peace begins with 3 simple words, not right now. And sometimes progress begins with 3 more. Do the next thing. If this message helped you understand your mind differently, subscribe to Human Code. Here, we explore the psychology of discipline, habits, behavior, and self-mastery, not simply to understand ourselves, but to become more intentional about who we are becoming. And remember, You cannot always control the thoughts that knock on the door of your mind, but you can become much more selective about which ones you invite inside.